Very good morning. It's still morning, 11:55.
Sure whether you'll be able to see, so maybe you should.
That's okay. It's just pointers for them, not many slides. So, thank you so much, sir, for inviting me over, Mr. Kaushik, Mr. Rath, and all my co-panelists for inviting me over here. I'm very glad that the inaugural session had 3 doctors. I'm glad because 2 of them were practitioners as well as academicians. Practitioners converted with PhD doctors, and one was, as he himself mentioned, he wore many hats. So I really cannot say what particular hat I should be talking about here. I'm also glad that in this session I'm the only doctor. And then in the next session also there would be one doctor, so he or she should also be very happy about it.
No, I'm doctor in making now.
He's doctor in making. So it's 1.5 doctors in the panel. So the reason I'm happy about it is, academicians have their own way of thinking. Academicians also try to give support of theory to the practices that are happening. And that is why they become links between academia and the industry. So they are the interface between them. Tell me very honestly, before Dr. Data spoke about the Great Resignation, how many of you had heard the term? Please raise your hands. Oh, I'm happy. So about half a dozen people had heard the term. The Great Resignation. You must have heard the word the Great Recession. Now this was the Great Resignation. Let me put some legitimacy on that. 41% of people worldwide are planning to quit and change their jobs this year. 4.3 million Americans in August 2021 resigned. That makes about 2.9% of the workforce of America. India's tech sector is showing a 23% attrition rate this year. Now these are numbers worth pondering. And these are numbers which really need some kind of contemplation from the employer point of view, because here when we are talking about numbers, these are employees' numbers we are talking about. Now very interestingly, I understand some of you are not from the hardcore HR domain. You come from different domains as well, different functional areas as well. But it's equally relevant to you because I feel, and I totally subscribe to the idea, I even profess the idea in my classrooms and in my training sessions, that whenever we talk about HR as a function, it may be a staff function, but it is actually applied and practiced by the line people. So for all of you who are not in the hardcore HR domain, it stands equally true. Now the point is, what do we do about these numbers? Now this is something I would like to borrow from what Dr. Mathur said in his inaugural speech. All of us understand, pandemic was disruptive for all of us. Physical, metaphysical, spiritual, emotional, financial, economical, all facets. We also know all of us rose to the occasion and accepted things with a grace that was unparalleled. We submitted to something that was unprecedented. We accepted it, and we also, with a lot of grace, we went with the flow. Something that was just nobody knew what is the standard, but still we flew with it. But also, as Dr. Mathur said, HR was one function that rose to the occasion at this point of time. When the world was standstill, HR and IT, who were supposedly considered the weaker cousins of the blue-eyed boys like production, finance, sales, etc., these were the domains which actually rose to the occasion, got back the economy on the track, and it deserves a big shout out for HR and IT. So we came with a new avatar of HR, that was the Phoenix avatar of HR. Now, as academicians have a habit, they normally raise questions, not only in the examination but also in forums like this. I would also raise certain questions, and partly I would also like to attempt some answers here. I do not know how successful I would be personally, individually, but I'm sure the panel and all the audience here would be certainly supplementing what I would be speaking here. These are 5 most significant HR perspectives which I would like to flag, which can determine and drive the growth of economy post-pandemic, which we call new normal. As Dr. Vinay Gautam Saab said, the new normal is actually new. It is not going to go back to old. It is something that we have to live with. It is non-negotiable reality. Absolutely non-negotiable reality. These are the 5 perspectives I would be talking about very quickly. 3 dimensions in each. The first dimension. HR for years has been trying to be in the driving seat of the business, not very successfully. Both the practitioners and the professors have been trying hard, pushing hard, but thanks to the pandemic, that's the brighter side of the pandemic, they gave HR an opportunity to shine and come out meritorious. So there's a newfound orbit shifting acceleration. But as Dr. Mathur was thinking aloud, whether we'll be able to maintain the momentum or not, that's entirely in your hands, all my HR colleagues here. The second important observation or issue that I would like to flag is long observed patterns. There was so much of fascination with work from home. There was so much of debate about meetings. Everyone knew meetings are not useful. But we always had so many meetings. There was so much of disenchantment here, and we realized so much of business travel is useless, so many meetings are really not required. Zoom meetings, evidence galore. There's galore evidence that Zoom meetings are more productive and more effective than in-person meetings. And the last one, most important, here. Now this is the time where organization structures have to become more inclusive. Now please remember, when I say inclusive, the first thing that will come to your mind is diversity. I'm not talking about diversity in terms of race, color, caste, creed, ethnicity, religion, etc., etc. I'm only talking about diversity deep down. When I say deep down, you need to actually dive deep within the employee psychology as to what are their essential core needs. You'll be surprised to know, and it comes in a different slide, you'll be surprised to know the Maslow's need hierarchy theory that we have been listening to for so long is actually now morphing into a pyramid, because some people are at that level, some people are at this level, some people are at a different level. Now that is something happening which is an area of concern, and HR has to drive that agenda. The second, I'm sorry, I was asked to point it here. Now this is something I would like all of you to attend upon. Bringing the new human back to business, and when I say business, both new and old business. This is new business and that is old business. So I have my co-panelists, they will be talking about that. The 3 issues that I would like to flag here. Please remember, whenever we talk about personality, we say once in a lifetime it does happen that personality goes a sea change, it goes a turnaround change. Pandemic became the common denominator for all of us. Everyone's personality went for a change. Everyone's personality went for a change. Like Dr. Vinay Gautam said, all of us lost people, lost faith, lost money, lost time, and the losses were uncountable, they were unaccountable. So we need to know that there are personality denials. We need to understand that people are different now. Also, we need to understand, this is something that I would like really to all of you to little mull over. We were in the process of selecting people who were anti-fragile. So we talked about learning, agility, adaptability, etc., etc. Instead of now selecting people who are anti-fragile, can we really honor the fragility of the human beings as they are? Because all of us have gone through DNA level changes during the pandemic. Those who have survived, they now understand life very differently. And please remember, between survival and soul searching, all of us are captured somewhere. Some of us still are at the survival level, some of us are at the soul searching level. Like Dr. Vinay Gautam said, now he is no more looking at economic gains out of his profession. That's soul searching level. But all of us are somewhere in between, and so are our employees. And the last point is something very, very important to understand. And that is the new generation that is coming in. Some of my very young colleagues are sitting on that side. Believe me, as an academician, I have seen children. Their communication space in which they are taught and their realization space in which they will work, they are, I won't say poles apart, they are orbits apart. They are galaxies apart. They come with a very, very fragile mindset. I have seen children breaking down in the classroom. They are upset, they are grieving, they are fragile, they are apprehensive, they are insecure, and they require a different kind of a dealing. Very quickly, going to 3 more things. The new perspective on resilience, resistance, and resurgence. This technology resilience has nothing to do with the IT technology. This is about HR took a lot of time to become IT friendly. But once that we have become IT friendly and we have integrated IT, this is time to show resilience and continue using IT for HR agenda. Measurement resistance is another thing. Numbers are something HR people are very, very scared of. In fact, I would say it's good. At least at this point of time, it is very, very good that you are scared of numbers. Because we have to do away with the quantitative and actually think qualitatively into the psychology of people. And last but not the least here, the researches and theories stand nullified. All theories that we have been reading, we have to create new theories. Every recession, every pandemic, every world war, anything that is a turbulence, it starts a new normal and all old theories are nullified. Paradigm shift on critical roles. I will leave this for all of you. Just the title. I will request you to please read it again. Paradigm shift on critical roles with skills to roles as critical skills. Critical roles with skills to roles as critical skills. This means our job descriptions have to change, job specifications have to change, organizational structures have to change, and we need to look at it with a fresh lens. Also, half-life of skills has reduced. It has shrunk. You look at the speed at which all of us learned the pandemic vocabulary. That means we have a learning curve which we so far were not exploiting. And since the half-life has already shrunk and we also have a new learning curve, we can actually work upon that. The last but not the least is the humanization of the human resource management. Since morning we have been hearing about it. I would also request, let us bring back the human into the human resource management, not only human resource management, but also in the business. That would mean sense-making, meaning-making, and being very, very generous caregivers. Please remember, it's no more about work-life balance. It's about life-work balance. Earlier, our lives used to revolve around work and we used to find time for life. We would trade off parent-teacher meeting for meetings in the office. Now is the time we turn the vocabulary, make it life-work balance. Life and livelihood are two different things.